see the Basel 3. So for Basel
Yeah.
3 is a regulatory, we already covered this Basel somewhere
Yeah.
up
Yeah,
here,
we
right?
have.
So
Yeah.
we covered it for Basel 2. So this is Basel 3.
Wasn't the 40 terabyte thing for Basel 3? I believe
Uh, I
we've
actually
changed that
changed that
to.
40
Okay.
terabyte to multi-terabyte. I wanted to say that there were
All right.
many upgrades. Yeah, because if we just put a 40, then it sounds like just one migration. However, we
Yeah.
were doing
Mm-hmm.
several migrations. So I just replaced that 40 with a multi-terabyte, and also I put a plural there as well, so that we could say that I think we did it in somewhere in the multi-terabyte. Yeah, right there. So it's the last bullet in product ownership section.
Mm-hmm.
Successfully migrated multi-terabytes of data, shortened batch processing times, and met regulatory reporting requirements by leading upgradation to new database platforms for key clients. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to say one, that's fine. Um, so Basil, where else have we put Basil? So Basil is, okay, it's actually in the second, in the different role. So see, we talked about Basel 2 there. So now we are talking about Basel 3, which is
Okay.
the next version of it. So yeah, so we can say that. So Basel 3 was the one that we actually did. We actually had them migrated over into the DHP, into the database hosting new set of a VLDB platform. VLDB is a very large database
Mm-hmm.
system. So I was again the lead on the project, right, from the database perspective. However, I was collaborating with the application team as a whole. Why? Because Basel 3 had many components, database being the one, but there were some application components like the application server, and then there was a competition server as well. So when we were designing, right, so we were
Mm-hmm.
designing in such a way, we actually had to migrate, we actually had to upgrade the whole technology stack. The web servers were upgraded, okay, and application server was also upgraded because the Basel 3 were bringing additional functionalities. Now what those functionalities are. So let's just go over on them. So the Basel 3 functionalities that we talked about was one was that we implemented partitioning, database level partitioning and application level partitioning to accommodate global users community. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate global users community and also to accommodate to address some performance issues. Having and we also implemented the service level. So application partitioning is a good word because that is
Mm-hmm.
more in line with the application design, and database partition is a good word as far as the database design comes in. So if we mention both those words, right, then we are pretty much covering both the avenues, the database
All right.
design and the application design. And
Mm-hmm.
so and we talk about the global community. That means that we are covering the scalability, okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a very key component when you talk about system design.
Yeah.
Because in today's day and shape, right, people talk about within the system design, the main components that people always look for is that how scalable the application was when you designed it, and how much performant it was when you designed it, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
also they talked about that. How resilient it was. So we put everything in there. So when I will be talking, right, I have a lot of data to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those two, database design, application design, and then the benefits were that we're able to accommodate additional global community. We're able to achieve some of the performant feature of it. We also were able to introduce the newer set of application features. Now
Mm-hmm.
those features were actually a whole slew of them. Why? Because the Basel 3 was bringing new set of rules engine. Those were enhanced from the previous rules engine because it was the newer model. It was the next release from Basel 2. So that was also implemented. They also actually separated the main computation. They actually divided this into two. So we had two applications. One was Comet. The other one was Comet was the rules engine, and then the Star was the data warehouse. So we divided the application into two pieces. Comet, we left the computation into Comet, and we moved the data warehouse reporting into Star. The reason was that they both were, when they were in the same application, they both were hurting each other because their intention was different. Comet was entirely a computation engine. So when you do the computation, you need all the compute power to do just for the compute. But when you talk about the data warehouse, no, you are actually responding back to the queries coming from many users. So when we divided this, or when we segregated the two different applications, it was much easier for us to handle the workload. So we were able to address the application level workload by distributing or dividing or segregating the two different application functionality. One was completely computation or regression. Yeah, those are the two words that they used. So computation and regression were separated from the Star, which was the data warehouse, or which was what happened here? Sorry. So I think that's probably sufficient information around Basel 3.
All
And then
right.
the financial system initiative was actually, I think we talked about FSI somewhere.
Yeah, I believe we did. I don't know if I included it per se, but
Okay, so we did not. So that's good. If we have not done this, is probably the right spot. So the FSI was actually the 5-year financial system initiative roadmap, where all the front to back applications. Oh, which we named it front to back. Yes, exactly. So we named it front to back. Yeah. So we talked about it in the database operation role. We talked about that established standardized testing and empowered application to handle market volatility and use unusual data volumes by designing and delivering a world-class infrastructure and front-to-back systems integration. Improved. Okay, so that's fine. We talked about just the delivery piece in the database operations work. Here we can say that we actually designed. So this is again now, I was taking care of all the database components of all of these systems. I believe there were around 10 some systems. Those were from front to back. When I say front to back, that means from front office business applications to a back office business application. So there were close